Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Ashwarya with you, and all the day's big stories from India and across the world coming up in the next 30 minutes. Let us start with the headlines. BJP has a strong team led by a strong captain. Opposition is completely scattered, says Prime Minister at a campaign rally in Ballabghar. Calls the development work a first priority in Haryana. At public rally in Noon, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi criticizes state government on the issue of jobs, agriculture and development. On the last day of his two-nation visit to Africa, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu holds discussions on bilateral matters with Acting Speaker of Sierra Leone Parliament, Matthew S. Numa. Vice President also visits Choitra Medical Charitable Hospital in the capital city of Freetown. NSA Ajit Doval calls terrorism a well-established national policy of Pakistan. Addressing an NIA conference, emphasizes the need for focused efforts to collect extensive evidence against Pakistan. Postpaid mobile services restored in Jammu and Kashmir. Business community, tourism industry welcome decision. Governor Satyapal Malik says not only telephone lines, but lives of Kashmiris are more important. Internet services to be restored over the next few days. And India-born Abhijit Banerjee, wife Esther Duflo, and Michael Kramer to share the Nobel Prize for Economics for their research on measures to end global poverty. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi sent congratulatory Twitter messages. Let us begin the bulletin with all the election-related stories from Maharashtra and Haryana. Campaigning is on in full swing in Haryana. Let us get you all the election-related news from Haryana first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday said that the massive mandate given by the people gave him the strength to take big steps like Article 370. Addressing an election rally in Haryana's Ballabghar, Prime Minister Modi said that when he comes to Haryana, he feels as if he has come home. He also said that development in the state was his priority.
आर्टिकल 370 और 35A से इतना ही लगाव है, इतना ही मोह है, तो मैं जरा उनको आज आह्वान करता हूं, चैलेंज करता हूं। अगर इतना ही 370 आपको प्यारा लगता है, हिम्मत के साथ हरियाणा के लोगों के बीच में जाओ और बताओ कि अगर आप चुनाव जीत करके आएंगे तो 370 वापिस लाएंगे, 35A वापिस लाएंगे, मोदी ने जो किया है उसको उल्टा कर देंगे।
The Prime Minister further said that the opposition parties in the states were crumbling while the BJP had a strong team and a strong captain in Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar.
यहां का विकास, यहां के लोगों के जीवन में बदलाव, ये हमेशा हमेशा मेरी प्राथमिकता रही है। हमने कहा था कि छोटे किसानों, खेत मजदूरों को, छोटे व्यापारियों को, छोटे दुकानदारों को हर महीना पेंशन की सुविधा दी जाएगी। हमने ये भी कहा था कि देश के व्यापारियों, कारोबारियों के लिए राष्ट्रीय व्यापारी कल्याण बोर्ड का गठन करेंगे। साथियों, आज जब किसानों, पशुपालकों, श्रमिकों, कर्मचारियों, उद्यमियों की इस धरती पर आया हूं, तब मैं कह सकता हूं कि इतने कम समय में ये सारे संकल्प सिद्ध हो चुके हैं।
Meanwhile, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Monday targeted the central and state government over several issues of employment, agriculture and development. Addressing his first rally in Haryana's No, he claimed that whatever promises he has made so far, he had fulfilled, like those he made in Madhya Pradesh and in Rajasthan. He further said that if elected to power in Haryana, the Congress party will waive farmer loans as well.
पहला मुद्दा गुड़गांव से अलवर की रेलवे लाइन, दूसरा न्यू इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज को यूनिवर्सिटी का दर्जा देना, तीसरा कोटला लेक एक्सपेंशन और चौथा मेवात कैनाल। मैं आपको यहां झूठे वायदे करने नहीं आया हूं, मगर मैं आपको डायरेक्ट सीधा बोल रहा हूं, हरियाणा में कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार बनी तो ये काम चारों हो जाएंगे।
With Haryana Assembly elections coming up on 21st of October, political parties are high on the election fever. In May, after being swept aside by the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's popularity in the Lok Sabha elections, Haryana's well-known political families this time are battling it out to regain their lost turf. In this report, let's take a look at political equations in Haryana.
Campaigning is in full swing for the upcoming Haryana Assembly polls. The ruling BJP is going full throttle to realize its target of winning over 75 seats in the 90-member Assembly. Spread over 9 districts, the North Haryana region has 37 assembly seats. Sonipat sends a maximum of 6 MLAs from the region. Karnaul sends 5 MLAs, followed by Rohtak, Panipat, Ambala, Yamunanagar, Kurukshetra and Kaithal that have 4 assembly seats each, while Panchkula has 2 assembly seats. Of the 37 seats, the BJP bagged 24 seats, a quantum leap against its 2009 tally of just 2 seats. The Congress retained just half of its seats, winning 9 in 2014 from 18 in 2009. The Indian National Lok Dal, led by Om Prakash Chautala, had managed to retain just 1 seat, losing as many as 11 seats it had secured in 2009. For many years, the BJP was the junior partner to the Indian National Lok Dal. Contesting on its own, the party won only 4 seats in the 2009 assembly elections in the state, but in the next elections in 2014, it won a majority in the state legislature with 47 MLAs. In the past 5 years, the party increased its strength to 67 MLAs after 17 rebels from INLD, 2 from Congress and 1 independent defected to the BJP. The party also bagged all 10 Lok Sabha seats in May this year. The big faces from North Haryana region include Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, who is seeking re-election from the Karnal seat. Khattar is facing 11 other candidates from the seat, but there is no major challenge for him as no prominent leader is pitted against him. Former Chief Minister and Congress leader Bhupinder Singh Hooda, who is representing the Garhi Sampla Kiloi seat in Rohtak since 2005, will face BJP's Satish Nandal. Nandal had earlier served as INLD's district unit chief and joined the Saffron party ahead of the polls. In 2014, Hooda defeated Nandal, who was then an INLD candidate. Other prominent opposition candidates in the contest are Congress leader Randeep Singh Surjewala from Kaithal, who is seeking a re-election from this seat. Alleging non-fulfillment of poll promises, the opposition is targeting the BJP over issues like unemployment, farm crisis and water scarcity. For the ruling BJP, transparency in governance, the fight against corruption, recruitment on merit and the scrapping of Jammu and Kashmir's special status are the main issues. Politically, the BJP is looking at an easy comeback given the divisions in the Congress and a weak INLD. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you all the news and updates from the election battleground, Maharashtra. Looking for a clean sweep in the Maharashtra Assembly elections, the BJP Shiv Sena alliance is focusing on making electoral gains over its infrastructure and other developmental work in the past 5 years. The opposition, however, is aiming to corner the government on civic issues like building collapses and flooding in the city. Here is a detailed report.
India's financial, commercial and entertainment capital Mumbai generates 6.16% of India's total GDP. It is also one of the most globalized cities in South Asia and the main destination for foreign investment and joint ventures. On 21st October, more than 1 crore 84 lakh voters will decide the electoral fate of 334 candidates in Mumbai. Divided into 2 districts, Mumbai City and Mumbai Suburban, Mumbai accounts for 36 seats in the assembly. In 2014, the BJP secured 15 seats and the Shiv Sena 14 seats. Both parties improved their 2009 tally by 10 seats each. The Congress secured only 5 seats, coming down from its 2009 tally by 12 seats. The NCP failed to get any seat in 2014, while it had secured 3 seats back in 2009. The Samajwadi Party and AIMIM had 1 seat each. In the 2014 and 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the BJP-Sena alliance eased out the opposition from all 6 seats. Looking for a clean sweep in the state elections, the BJP-Sena alliance is focusing on making electoral gains over its infrastructure and other developmental work in the past 5 years. The opposition is aiming to corner the government on civic issues like building collapses and flooding in the city. The array tree felling and PMC bank scam is also expected to dominate campaigning issues. The Congress is contesting on 30 seats in the city, leaving 6 for the NCP. The BJP has fielded 17 candidates while the Shiv Sena is contesting 19 seats. The highlight of the poll battle will be South Central Mumbai's Worli seat. A Shiv Sena bastion, 29-year-old Aditya Thackeray is making the Thackeray clan's electoral debut from there. The Congress NCP has fielded veteran Dalit leader Suresh Mane against him. The Sena lost the seat just once in the last 30 years. Intra-party rebellion is another key issue for political parties. Prominent rebels for the Shiv Sena are its current MLA Tripti Sawant, who is contesting from the Bandra East seat, against official party nominee and Mumbai Mayor Vishwanath Mahadeshwar. The Thackeray home Matoshri falls in this area. The BJP has denied tickets to heavyweights like Vinod Tavare from Borivali, Prakash Mehta from Ghatkopar, among others. The NCP suffered a blow after city unit chief and former Worli MLA Sachin Ahi defected to the Sena. For the past 20 years, Maharashtra's politics has revolved around the BJP Sena and Congress NCP alliances. Both have enjoyed power at least once. But this time, while the Congress NCP is looking depleted, the Shiv Sena, which has a strong presence in the city, is looking at a much strengthened BJP. The NCP will be making efforts to stay relevant in Mumbai. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
right, let's get to some other news now. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu concluded his two-nation Africa tour on Monday. Emplaining for New Delhi, he was bid farewell by Nabila Farida Tunis, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Sierra Leone. And earlier in the day, he met Matthew Numa, the acting Speaker of the Parliament of Sierra Leone. And he also visited the Choithram Charity Hospital in Freetown, and he appreciated the commendable work being rendered by the hospital in the field of healthcare and in providing free medical treatment facilities to the poor and the needy. The wholesale inflation eased to more than a 3-year low of 0.33% in the month of September, mainly due to falling prices of fuel and certain food items. The wholesale price index-based inflation was 1.08% in August this year and 5.22% in September 2018. The previous low was recorded in June 2016, when wholesale inflation was in negative at 0.1%. The Commerce and Industry Ministry data showed that inflation print for food articles remained nearly flat at 7.47% during the month. The prices of potato fell by further 22.5% as against a decline of 21.28% in the month of August. And in further relief to the customers of troubled Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank, the Reserve Bank on Monday enhanced the withdrawal limit to 40,000 rupees per account from 25,000 rupees per account for 6 months. Now, this is the third such raise in the last month. And earlier in the day, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that she is closely monitoring the developments at PMC Bank, and the RBI governor has assured that the customers' interest will be protected. She also met with the heads of state-run banks for measures to boost the economy. And releasing data, Finance Secretary Rajiv Kumar said that state-run banks disbursed 81,781 crore in the 9 days of loan mela from 1st to 9th of October. He said that an amount of 34,342 crore rupees was disbursed to new entrepreneurs. And after the meet, Sitharaman also said that the banks have sufficient liquidity and efforts are being made to ensure that due payments are released to the MSME sector as well by large corporates. It is noteworthy the government in September had announced the outreach program in 2 phases involving the PSBs and the NBFCs as well to push liquidity into the hands of those who need it in credit in 400 districts of the country.
I have had a word with the Reserve Bank Governor on the PMC matter, because eventually it is the Reserve Bank appointed resolution professional who is going to have to deal with it. The Reserve Bank repeatedly has assured me, even today the governor has assured me, that he will keep the interest of the customers in mind and at the earliest try to resolve it.
And the Bureau of Indian Standards, that is BIS, will rank state capitals and 100 smart cities in the next 3 months for quality tap water. This was informed by Consumer Affairs Minister Ramvilas Paswan at an event to mark the World Standards Day. He said that the BIS will test the quality of tap water at district level in the next 6 months for ranking the cities. He added that his ministry has also written to state governments to make a BIS standard mandatory on drinking water. Remember, at present, the BIS standards for drinking water are voluntary in nature. The minister further said that the BIS is working towards one nation, one standard to remove multiplicity, duplicity of efforts and to bring more clarity among the consumer, manufacturer and to facilitate trade. It is noteworthy that a World Standard Day raises awareness about regulators, industry and consumers as to the importance of standardization to the global economy. On to some other news now. The process of selecting members for the National Medical Commission began in New Delhi on Monday. Now, this aims at improving access to quality and affordable medical education and ensuring the availability of adequate and quality medical professionals in our country. 25 members of the 33-member commission enacted by Parliament this year were selected in the presence of Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, and 19 of the 25 elected members were selected by media personnel through a lottery system. 10 members are vice-chancellors of state universities and 9 are representatives from the state medical councils. The remaining 8 members of the commission will be chosen by a search committee on the 18th of this month. And addressing the occasion, Dr. Harshvardhan described the commission as a historic reform in medical education.
पूरी तरह से आधुनिक पैरामीटर्स के आधार पर मेडिकल कॉलेजेस की रेटिंग, ये सारी प्रक्रियाएं जो है एनएमसी के माध्यम से प्रारंभ हो, ये सारी प्रक्रियाएं जो है हमें पूरी उम्मीद है कि समय से बहुत पहले हम लोग शुरू कर देंगे.
Big story from Jammu and Kashmir. In a major relief, the post-paid mobile services were restored across Jammu and Kashmir on Monday. 40 lakh post-paid mobile phones of all the networks have now become operational. The announcement to this effect was made by Jammu and Kashmir administration. Partial fixed line telephones was resumed in the valley on 17th of August. And by 4th of September, nearly 50,000 landlines were declared operational. Remember, mobile services were snapped after the government's move to abrogate Article 370 on 5th of August.
लोग बहुत शोर करते थे, टेलीफोन नहीं है, ये नहीं है. मेरा ये कहना था कि टेलीफोन जब नहीं थे तब नहीं थे क्या आप यहाँ? हमने टेलीफोन इसलिए रोके थे कि टेलीफोन के जरिए ही टेररिज्म की एक्टिविटी बढ़ाई जाती है, मोबिलाइजेशन होता है, इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन होता है. हमारे लिए इन कश्मीरी भाई की जान जरूरी थी, टेलीफोन जरूरी नहीं था. और हमने कामयाबी के साथ सब लोगों की जान बचाई. अब खैर वो टेलीफोन भी खुल गया है, कारोबारी लोग भी आसानी से अपना काम कर सकते हैं, टूरिस्ट ने आना शुरू कर दिया है. और हमारे जो नौजवान लड़के लड़कियां हैं उनको बहुत दिक्कत थी, वो भी बात कर सकते हैं और अब कोई दिक्कत रहेगी नहीं.
And on to the other top story that we are tracking this evening. This year's Nobel Prize for Economics has been awarded to a trio of scientists for their research on alleviating global poverty. Indian-American Abhijit Banerjee, Esther Duflo and Michael Kremer's work focuses on different ways to reduce poverty. The trio will receive 9 million Swedish krona. Banerjee was educated at the University of Calcutta, Jawaharlal Nehru University and Harvard University, where he received his PhD in 1988. He is currently the Ford Foundation International Professor of Economics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In 2003, Banerjee founded the Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Action Lab along with his wife. He is the author of a large number of articles and 4 books as well, including Poor Economics, which won the Goldman Sachs Business Book of the Year. He also served on the United Nations Secretary General's high-level panel of eminent persons on the post-2015 development agenda. And President Ramnath Kovind congratulated Abhijit Banerjee, Esther Duflo and Michael Kremer on winning the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences for their experimental approach to alleviating global poverty. The president tweeted that their research has helped economists better understand how to fight poverty in India and the world. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also expressed happiness that eminent economist Abhijit Banerjee is among the 3 economists awarded for this year's Nobel Prize in Economics. In a tweet, the Vice President expressed hope that Banerjee's experimental approach to alleviating global poverty will help the world community to understand and address the formidable challenge of poverty. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also praised Abhijit Banerjee on winning the Nobel Prize. The Prime Minister tweeted that Banerjee has made notable contributions in the field of poverty alleviation, and he also congratulated the rest of the two winners as well. On to some other news now. Ahead of a World Stroke Day on 22nd of October, Dr. M.V. Padma Srivastava of AIIMS has said that there has been an increase in the number of brain stroke patients in our country. Said that every 20 seconds a person suffers a brain stroke in our country, and a related death is reported every 3 minutes.
Stroke is number one cause of death. It's overtaken cancer and MI, heart attacks. So, क्यों है? It's probably again hypertension. But this is one factor that India, they say कि it is heading towards a stroke epidemic. तो अगर stroke statistics भी देखे तो every 20 seconds there is one stroke and every 2 minutes there is a stroke death. ये हमारा statistics नहीं है, ये Indian Council of Medical Research की statistics है. So unfortunately we are heading towards more brain attacks.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on Monday addressed the 141st Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union in Serbian capital Belgrade, and calling Parliament an open institution that enables citizens to become aware of the work done of their elected representatives. Speaker Om Birla said that it empowers them to hold parliamentarians to be responsive and responsible. He also said that parliamentarians are an important medium of communication between the people and the government. Remember, Birla is leading an Indian parliamentary delegation to the IPU conference. Some international news now. Syria has justified India's action to abrogate Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, calling it an internal matter of India. Syrian ambassador to India, Reid Abbas, told reporters in New Delhi that no other country should intervene into the internal affairs of any sovereign nation. He also welcomed India's statement against Turkey's bombing inside the Syrian territory. He said that Turkey has no business with interfering with what is happening inside Syria. The Syrian ambassador recently also met External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to convey the Syrian government's stand on Jammu and Kashmir. He also supported India's stand on cross-border terrorism.
This principle of India about their stand on Syrian issue, we highly appreciate. If any country do like that, we have no problem in Syria. And in the end, according to this principle of Indian stand, they issue a very good statement who is against any foreigner invasion in Syria and against Turkish aggression on Syria. We welcome this statement and we highly appreciate, and we look forward to enhance the relation with the Indian government, with India, who has good and strong voice in international arena under their leader of India, like Mr. Modi ji, and any government has the right to do whatever it like in its land to protect its people. Any government finds the best way to protect its people, and this it is an internal issue. From our side, we cannot involve on that, but always we are in favor of India for any action.
Pakistan must prevent militant groups from operating on its soil and also prosecute top Lashkar-e-Toiba operatives along with its leader Hafiz Saeed. This, the US has said ahead of the Financial Action Task Force's crucial decision on whether to blacklist the country. Alice Wells, head of the US State Department's South and Central Asian Bureau, also welcomed the arrest of the top 4 leaders of Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jamaat-ud-Dawa in Pakistan. Remember, Pakistan's law enforcement agencies on Thursday arrested the top 4 leaders of the banned terrorist organizations on the charges of terrorism financing. The top 4 leaders, terrorists, have been identified as Professor Zafar Iqbal, Yahya Aziz, Muhammad Ashraf and Abdul Salam. That's it in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.